Hi folks, Wooden Boat Dan here. It's July 6, 2024. The peeler skiff Winsome is done. I actually completed it early in June. So I thought I'd do a final video and just give you some more details, show you the boat, some of the things I did a little bit more custom and made some changes, and talk about the performance of the boat and all that sort of stuff. So you may be wondering how long it took me to build the boat. It was about 350 hours for me to build it. That was the actual construction of the boat, not counting outfitting the boat, which would be installing the motor, the Bimini, the hardware, customizing the trailer to fit, cabling for the remote control, steering wheel, all that stuff. So that stuff probably I took another 50 to 75 hours to do all that. So if you combined everything, I was a little over 400 hours, which is quite a bit, but I don't know. I never build them in the amount of time they say. You know, they say this is 250-hour boat. Well, I don't know. That could be, but you know, I did some custom things and I'm a little OCD on some of the details. So maybe that's why. You wonder about the cost of the boat. Total cost for the boat, the kit, I bought the kit, had it shipped, which cost $1,000. So I think the kit was around $5K with shipping, maybe a little bit more. Motor, I bought a 20-horse Honda motor, which they only recommend a 15-horse max. I went over that. I think I'm happy I did. You have to be careful though with one person in the boat. With a 20, the thing will scream, and if you hit, since it's a flat bottom boat, you don't want to hit some big waves very hard. You become airborne pretty quick. So the motor was about 4,500 with remote control system and cables and everything. And then I spent 2,300 on the trailer. And then you add up all the paint. I had to buy some extra epoxy, hardware, stain, undercoating for the paint. I mean, you add up all that stuff. I'm in this boat total about $16,000. So, that seems like a lot, but you know, it's a custom one-of-a-kind boat. I believe I could get that out of it because it looks really sweet. I'm very happy with the boat. So let's see. I'm gonna pause the video here for a second, and then I'm gonna show you some stuff about the boat that I did a little differently. Hello, so I thought I'd show you, sorry about this, get this adjusted. I'd show you the Bimini top on the boat while I have it outside. It's a little too tall to show you inside, so here we go. So, you can see the top. I've got it fairly level with the boat. I had to adjust it there. It's got a strap on the front and the rear. It's a 3-bow, which means it has 3 supports on the outside. Now these straps on the back here, or actually, let me say something here. Nice thing about this is I can stand up. You can see my center console there. I can stand up underneath this Bimini and not have a problem. And I'm 6'3", so that's pretty cool. The installation was pretty straightforward. You got these little iPads, pad eyes, I guess you call them. And you got this screwed into here, and that screwed into there. And so this is a bomb. I love the Bimini top. I can't really show you. Well, I could. Yeah, I can't get up high enough to show you the top of it, I guess, but I can get close. I stand on my toes. Anyway, this thing gives it a lot of shade. We were, when we were camping last week in Eastern Washington, it was real hot. It worked real well. So anyway, highly recommend the Bimini if you build the peeler skiff. The only thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna add back here where these straps are on the back, you can put a brace here, a solid brace instead, so that when you let the when you release the front straps, the whole thing will lay back against this rear pipe here, whatever you call this, and that way you don't have to put it all the way down. You can put the cover on it there, and so yeah, you can see up underneath here. Very nice, love it. Highly recommend. It's worth, I think it was I think it was 500 bucks maybe, I don't know. But also came with a really nice cover, which got real right here. It all zips up and fits very nicely over the Bimini. So there you go, there's a Bimini. Okay, let's start with the motor. I installed a 20 horse Honda motor, and love the motor. I did install the dole fin, it's called, down here on the bottom, which I think that's a good thing. And I also installed a spacer here on the top of the transom to get the this fin of the motor right here level with the bottom of the boat. So I raise it up, I don't know, 3/4 or an inch with that spacer. I did add storage compartments in the airtight compartments. I got one here, one over there, and one in the bow here. The plans call for filling these all with foam and having them fully enclosed, but I wanted storage, so I did it that way, and I'm very happy because I can throw a lot of stuff in here. I put some really good hatches in here. You can see there's quite a bit of storage, which is pretty cool. I can put my life jackets in here. I mean, you know, there's a lot of stuff to store in a boat, so I'm very happy with that. I did do the center console option, which I'm happy. I bought plans and built it from that. And I put my battery up here in the front to get some weight forward, and this is also an unused space. So you can see my batteries in a box there, and I was very careful to get everything strapped down good. And I built kind of a little brace for the bottom there. Put some Velcro on here so that stays down. I did add the grab bar up here, which is one of the optional things, which is great getting in and out of the boat. Here's how I mounted my remote control, which can be a little tricky because typically they're mounted more horizontal on a boat. Also, this one, when I got it, the control handle was on the other side, so I had to reverse that. It came with instructions, took me an hour or two to do that. I went with the custom wheel from CLC, which I love. It's really nice, works really great. I did install a center console door here with a latch on it, which I really love that. Hold on a second here, I'm gonna open this thing. So this gives you a lot of enclosed storage, so you can see I've got a fire extinguisher there, I've got my flares, my tools, my safety equipment, all that. Which I'm really glad I enclosed that. Got a little water here because I just washed the boat. I did install a Honda tachometer, which I'm glad I did. It's nice to see how the engine's performing. Although it's kind of weird, the shows it's got 42 hours, and there's no way I got 42 hours on this thing. I probably have 15, so it bumped up at one point, but the tack works great. So you can see a few custom things I did for the cabling, where it runs through. Instead of using plastic grommets or no grommets, I made some custom leather grommets. And cabling the boat, if you've never done it before, which I hadn't, takes some time and some head scratching. But I got it all figured out, and I'm happy with the way it came out. Up in the front here, oops, sorry about that, I've got a 1-gallon auxiliary gas tank, so that if I do run out of fuel, I can go about an hour on this thing probably 15 miles. If I conserve fuel, maybe even 20 miles. So here you can see my cabling coming up through here. My custom grommets, real happy with how that came out. Back to the motor here. And I did a loop with my throttle and shifting cable, this loop here, which just allows a little more slack when you turn the motor. You don't have to worry about it. If you're wondering what this is, I've got the Bimini top supported out of the way temporarily here for this video. And let's see, what else did I do? I put the side bunks on the trailer here, which I'm happy with. And I've got these straps here, tie down straps with a little winching system on them. Those worked real good. These things are huge here that I put on, but I also use these for a tow rope harness, so they're super strong. Inside here I cut the bolts off and made them pretty flush. And then where I mounted the motor, I put wooden spacers against the transom with a little silicone just to give a little protection to the transom and make that a little cleaner installation. The boat is named Winsome, which was my wife's idea. It means handsome. I didn't even know what it meant, but it's pretty cool. I love the font that we use. I forget what it was, but came out really nice. This is pretty cool here. I did a swim ladder. Swim ladder here. So this took a little bit of head scratching. Had to put a spacer in here and on this side and put some spacers here to hold it. I didn't want it flopping around, so it's a fixed ladder. So if you undo the Velcro on this side, that's the main thing that holds it up. And then on this side, you got a bungee cord. Undo that. The whole thing drops down like that. And I did use it once on our trip last week, which came out really nice. Here I've got a drain plug in the bottom of the boat. You can see under here maybe where it is back there. Yeah, let's see what else. So you may be wondering what these cleats are here. I put these on for my fenders to quickly hang my fenders to protect the boat. So over here, in theory, these would be clamped like this. I would have these tied off, pre-tied, and they would go around here and hang off the side of the boat like this. What I found when we took the boat camping last week is that the dock, these fenders needed to be up here against the gunnel, not down below the gunnel, because the dock was hitting the gunnel. So I've got to come up with a different solution for this. I've either got to get some fenders that have a little 90-degree bend at the top. I think Taylor makes those, or something like that. So the fenders are a challenge. Here I've got all the stuff that I store in the boat. I got a bilge pump, I got some rags, my fenders, I got a spare prop in here. And I've actually got two of these paddles, collapsible paddles, which is pretty nice. Another thing I did, which I hadn't done on a boat before, is put this boat hook in, which is super handy. That telescopes out to about 10 feet. I did put a seat in the boat, which I'm really glad I did, because I don't like standing for long periods of time at the helm. But this gives you the option of standing or sitting. And then I put a footrest down here, this mahogany, well, it's actually a Kumi plywood stained. I attached that from the backside with a couple screws so that I could put my feet up there and not worry about taking paint off the boat, which I don't like taking paint off the boat. Let's see, what else have I got on here that I can show you? Up here, I got rid of the black roller here because it was marking up the boat, and I put this orange one on instead. And I bought a piece of chrome here in 2 pieces, and it fit perfectly. It splits here where my pad eye is on the front, and then it goes down all the way to the bottom of the boat here to kind of protect the front of the boat. This pad eye up here was kind of a nightmare to put in. It goes all the way through my stem here, and it was hard to get those holes straight, so I didn't get them super straight. I ended up using a bunch of epoxy there. And as I mentioned before, my stem was not part of the original plan, so I added that, which I'm happy with how that looks. I got a hole in there, so I can't tie a line through that. And then these frames here, sorry about that. These frames here, like on this side, were on the original plans, they swoop way out here, kind of look, I don't know, like a half circle. I just wanted those to look a little more traditional, like an actual boat frame. So I did that there. And let's see, what else did I do on here? Oh yeah, the gas tank. You can see I put cleats. There's a cleat on each side of the tank that I epoxied to the bottom of the boat, and then I put a strap around it. That's, I think, 3 1/4 or 3.5 gallons there. So that came out decent. So I look at my notes here and see what else I was going to talk about. If I can find my notes. Well, let's see, where did I put those? Hang on just a second, folks. I'll be right back with you. So after my little talk here, I am going to put a couple videos on the end here. One showing you the boat on the water first time I took it out, kind of a initial cruise, and then maybe some other ones too at the very end of the build. So a couple other notes. This is how happy am I with the boat? I'm very happy with it. I knew building it that it was a flat bottom boat. It's not meant for high speed. It's not meant for heavy water. It's just a nice cruising boat that you can use for fishing, crabbing, go out. I can take it out in Puget Sound on a nice day and not worry about it, but I'm not going to be out there in the winter salmon fishing with outriggers on and pounding 5-foot chop. I mean, that just ain't going to happen. As far as the speed of the boat with a 20 horse, when I'm in the boat by myself with the 20 on smooth water, top speed's 24, 25, which is actually really screaming. And then with each pound of weight that you load, the boat slows down significantly. So the payload of this thing is 1,000 pounds, and by the time you deduct motor and fuel and other things, that's a couple hundred. So that leaves you about 800 for people. So I could do 4 adults and 3 kids and be right at the payload. With that amount of people in the boat, my cruising speed was lowered to 6 or 7 knots. And even at full bore, I didn't get much over that. So there's no point in running at that speed. But what I found is what they say in the specs for the boat is cruising at a slower speed is really comfortable. You conserve fuel, like 8 to 10 knots, maybe 12 knots if there's just 2 people in the boat. That's really a nice speed. The waves aren't going to beat you up too much. And I figure running the boat, I use about 1 gallon an hour, probably a little less than that, maybe 3/4 of a gallon. So, if I got a full tank, I can be cruising around for 3 or 4 hours pretty easy. And I've also got a gallon of extra fuel on there. I did buy an inner tube, a 3-person inner tube to take camping with us last week when we had the boat there. And I wanted, it's almost like a big float. You don't even have to get wet to get on the tube. I was not pulling the tube at 20 miles an hour or even 15. Most of the time, I had my grandkids on there. We were towing at 5, 6, 7 miles an hour. So it's more like pulling a float around on the water, and that worked really good. But you're not going to tow a tube at 20 miles an hour on this boat with 3 people on it, which is kind of a no-brainer. Let's see, what else? Yeah, the boat pounds pretty well when you hit some waves. The first day we got to camping, there was wind gusts of 30 miles an hour, and there was a chop of 2 to 3 feet. So with that amount of wind and that chop, if I went over 8 or 10 knots, the boat would pound, and I got quite a bit of spray over. But as soon as I slowed down, it was fine. I mean, it's the more weight you get in the boat, the more stable it is, because it is a flat bottom boat. So overall, I'm very pleased with the boat. The other thing I'll mention is I did buy the custom cover for the boat from CLC. However, it didn't fit because of the stem on the front of my boat. So I sent that back, and they're kind enough to issue me a refund for that. So anyway, I think there's a lot of fishing, maybe some crabbing in our future, pulling my grandkids around on the tube, going for a cruise with my wife. The Bimini top is awesome to have that cover over the boat. And anyway, it's a great boat. I'm very happy that I built this boat, and but now I'm thinking about my next build. Winter's coming up in 2 or 3 months, and it's like, ooh, I'm gonna get a little antsy over the winter here when it's raining in Washington, and I need another project. I think I would like to build the PT-11 nesting dinghy next, because I could put that in the back of my pickup, take it out, put it in the water myself, row or sail it, have a lot of fun, take it to some lakes for fishing where you can't have motors. Unfortunately, the peeler skiff, that motor and all the cabling and everything is never gonna, motor's not coming off for me to go into some of these small lakes. So maybe we'll see. Maybe the PT-11 is going to be next, but it's, you know, $6,000 or $7,000 investment for the kit with the sails and everything. So not sure that's in the budget right now. Anyway, if you haven't done so, check out my podcast Hook on Wooden Boats. You can find it on Apple Podcasts and other Spotify and some other platforms. And my email, if you have any questions, woodenboatdan@gmail.com. Thanks for coming along with the journey. And until my next build, fair winds and good seas and all that stuff. Whatever you're supposed to say. I don't know. How does that saying go? I don't know. Anyway, have a great day, folks. Good talking to you. Wooden Boat Dan, over and out. And I'll say hi to my grandkids, Nora and Walter and Otto and Henry, Frankie, Lois, and Ruthie. Love you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
May 29th, 2024, maiden voyage of Winsome. The 15-foot peeler skiff. Built by Dan Matson, hooked on wooden boats in 18 months. What's that?
I lost my hat.
Oh no! I didn't even notice.